I guess, right? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January, March 12th, 2025 Disability Advisory Board meeting. I'm Lisa Huckler, and I think we have everyone here. Why don't we do a roll call? Just make sure everything's working.
Hi, Abbey Yeatts.
Hi, Kirsten Zolfo.
And on Zoom, we have joined, oh, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
John Lewis. Hey.
Okay. And
Hey,
on
John.
Zoom,
Michelle Williams Stambaugh, present.
And Cynthia Lang.
okay, thank you. So we are all here. First order of business is the approval of the January 8th, 2025 meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Kirsten? All in favor? Say aye.
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 Okay, approved unanimously. We have one open position is an alternate is available. So anyone out there listening, I will say that I had someone reach out to me on our email at the Disability Advisory Board email, dab@lmt.org. And she has submitted her resume. So as of this week. So I'm just going to assume the process will roll along, and usually it's just a matter of coming before the board for a very short introduction. And so we could have another member.
Yay.
Yep. So it's great to see, we have interest. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Do we have anyone public comment? We did post the agenda on the website, so people do have the sign in.
Nobody's here.
Okay. No one for public comment. Okay. Next, I wanted to bring up that we do have a brochure, and I like to, put it out at the community center and in the township building, and, just to awareness. And if we do attend any events, to have something available. So we do have something, it was made maybe 10 years ago. So I can't really we don't have anyone that can update it. And the other person that was updating it has left the board also. So Kirsten did volunteer to maybe start over in a program she has, which I think would be great. So if everyone had a chance to look at the brochure, I think pretty much the first page is fine. It's very generic. There's nothing on there that we have to put on there. We might want to add, we do have our email, the dab@lmt.org. So that's fine. We have the township phone number. So that's fine too. Then when we go over to the second page, we give an overview, which is our mission statement, which of course we would keep, who we are, that we were created in 2004. That's just general information that our members, we have 5 members, 2 alternates and a supervisory liaison. Again, that's something we would keep. So I think maybe what we just need to do is update some of what we've done, because I think we've done some additional items in the past 4 or 5 years that aren't included on here, and maybe update our future goals. So if everyone had a chance to look at was there anything that really stood out that you think we might want to include in here?
No, I think it looks fabulous. I'm sorry I don't have my camera on. Do we want to include the fun run, which I think correlates with supporting people with disabilities? Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah, this is my eye issue. I don't have my glasses.
Yeah, so we have volunteer at community events such as the 5K Anyway Color Fun Run for accessibility to raise funds for future projects. So I think that is important. Yep.
Yeah, I love it. Now, the only question, does this get charged to the township and it's mailed? Does it come out of a particular budget, or how do they do that? Operational budget?
No, this is just something that, I can print up and we just have with us if we go attend any community events.
Community. Okay.
And we put them out here in the, just the township building community center. So I can just do that. I can print those up at work.
I bet, I'm sorry to interrupt. I apologize with the delay. I think Claire at Sill might want us to put some of these out too, if that's a thought that everybody likes. I don't know.
You mean included on the Center for Independent Living like website, or maybe give her some hard copies to place in her
In
where
the
they're
office.
located in the
Yeah.
office? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yep. I was emailing her for something else, so I can, once we create a new one, we can surely send that to her.
Okay.
I had
With the one, go ahead.
And that is perhaps we can replace one of the pictures with a QR code that someone can scan to
Oh, that's a good idea.
website.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you all, I'll sometimes, I'm sure if we went into my purse, there's like 5 brochures of things I grabbed and then they just live in my purse until I clean it out. Whereas if someone can take a cell phone pic and go to the website, it's a more immediate answer to whatever their
And
issues.
would that bring you directly to the web page, not just lmt.org? Would
Yes.
bring you to, okay. Yep.
Specifically.
Yeah, specifically to that web page. Okay, great.
One thing I noticed also under the what we've done section is that the tenses are mixed
Okay.
in some of them, if we want to just make that.
Okay, so we'll clean up some of the grammar when we redo it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There was also some like redundancy, like a point was mentioned and then next it was mentioned again in the next bulleted point and yeah,
Yeah.
so.
And this is just the marketing in me and object if you want. Do you think it would be appropriate to maybe have more visuals of people with disabilities, or do we have them in that? I see we have them down below, but maybe a couple of people from the fun run or something that shows community visual adaptation. Maybe there's a picture of kids or something that we could include.
Yeah, we'll look to see if we can add some graphics,
Okay.
with
Yeah.
more,
You just have to be mindful about releases. For
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know how, I know.
Worst
It's-
case scenario, I can take
It's a
my kids
press
to the
release
park.
issue.
yeah,
I totally get it. This is my old land, I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
it's-
believe we did get permission for, we do have a child playing on the playground, and we do, when we first opened, we did get permission even from the little boy. I think it's on the Parks and Rec website.
Yeah, I think,
So we do
I
have
use-
some pictures.
yeah, I probably, if I look through stock or my photos that I took for, when Bonnie was librarian, I did the Woodstock event at the library that we could probably incorporate, because we want to show, and this is what's so great about Lower Makefield, and it's sad after 25 years, I'll probably be leaving, but it's all coming together how I envisioned as an idea 20 years ago. It's a community, and children with disabilities. We want to show that we're a community of stuff we do with the children that have invisible and visible disabilities. So that's great.
Okay, and then we can look at what our goals are for this year, maybe put some in there, and then, but again, I think they might be generic enough, but it's time that we update a little bit. So I think what we'll do is maybe I'll kind of doctor it up, send it maybe in a Word format. I'll just send it out. You can add something, and then we'll get it over to Kirsten to try to put it into her program, and then we can go from there.
Like kind of update it, because I know that the construction like at the park was a while ago, when the park was made. We could say something like continued
You mean for the increase,
improvements, or like
like the
adding-
secret garden?
continued
Continue to make improvements and
Yeah.
upgrade.
upgrade facility.
And a future goal might be to provide shade at,
Yes.
so that would be a goal.
I was gonna say, maybe we might want to cross-sell some of the Bucks County, the SIL stuff
Mhm.
as well, so that if people don't know about the SIL, that they can get help
I was gonna
there
say,
as well.
Put it under one of these.
Yeah, I think here we have us sign up for the Smart 911. I think that would be appropriate place to also include, you can contact the Center for
Yeah.
Independent Living, so we can add that. So that could go on there.
And then as far as accomplishments, you did the Play for All stuff comprehensive
ADA
analysis.
transition plan.
Yeah,
The Parks and Rec. Yeah, we should include that. I think we have assisted in the development of the ADA transition plan along with the LMT Parks and Rec Department. And again, we should update that to say continued to update it and things,
Yeah.
and then we can maybe add programming. That future
Yeah,
goal is to add
Programming for
ADA programming with the Parks and
Rec.
Recs, so that, Okay. Yeah, so remember, we only have 2 pages, but we have a lot to put in there, so we'll.
the wording can be pared down.
Yeah,
too. I
there's-
think that we can then
Bullet.
add in new bullet points.
Okay.
I think you can tighten it up, Lisa. It's a trifold and you're doing 4 color. I mean, if you want to save some money, you could do a 2 color, but you might be able to get rid of that one visual and do something. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking really quick.
I was thinking, do we really need the blank spot on the back? Or
That's
can
what I
the
was
QR
thinking
code can
too.
go?
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's
this
what
was when we were thinking of potentially mailing them.
That's
so
why
that
I
was-
asked.
Right,
about
so we
that.
could utilize that space for the QR code and maybe
Yeah.
another graphic there. You
Yeah, it's a
can,
trifold. It's a double trifold 4 color. So, I
Change-
like that QR code thing, which is, I'm not a tech savvy person. It's definitely not my lane anymore, but it looks beautiful.
I was gonna say we could probably change all the kind of computer generated graphics to
Mhm.
actual pictures, because I know there's
Right.
pictures on the ADA transition
plan.
plan
Yeah.
book that we could use. We
Yes.
can go out in the community.
That's the
and
one
take
that I was-
pictures of ourselves.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
different things.
yeah.
And the other thing too is the Canva program actually has like 100 million images that are included with it that you can use like
Yeah.
without having to get permissions and stuff.
Mhm.
So we can use some of their stock photos if we needed to. But I do
Right.
think having pictures of our own facilities and our own community
Yeah.
members are probably the most effective way to go ahead with it.
The only thing I'd like to try to keep is this logo.
Mhm.
So we'll have to
Yeah.
see if we can, because Megan Dorco, that was on our board for many years, she created that for us.
No,
She
I love
wanted-
it. I think
She
you can
wanted to
drop
patent
it in.
it.
No, I
Oh,
think you can drop it
I
in on the
see.
top where you have your
Yeah.
lower Makefield Disability Advisory Committee and tighten it up, or just drop that working for you, and the graphics, we could drop down stuff. And then you
Yeah.
have a whole panel right there. So I would
Yeah.
definitely use that
Yeah,
logo.
Yep, we'll definitely get that logo. So hopefully you can kind of copy and paste that if you have that ability. If not, I still keep in touch with her,
You might be able to get a high res version because
Facebook, Facebook, I keep in touch with people for many years, even if they've moved away. So I can tap into her if need be. Okay. All right. So this will be a work in project. We don't really have any events coming up that we need to do it other than to get it into the township buildings. But we'll go ahead and take a look at this. We'll work on it, and then maybe we can approve it at the next meeting that we have. So probably give you a month or two to, we can all kind of come up with something. All right, great. No, that'll be great to have. And I have like thicker paper, so, it looks nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Next, we had a webinar that Abbey was attending. It was PHRC. I'm not really sure what that stands for. We'll let Abbey Diversity Speaks. And it was Inclusion and Equality for Disabled People. So I just asked Abbey if she could give us an update on if you learned anything or if you found it worthwhile to attend, if there's anything that might be of interest, to us.
It seemed to be a lot more geared towards workplace inclusion, accommodations for workplaces, things that they can implement.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting, and I do think she sent us the slides, so I can always email them out as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
Abby, that was the one with the young woman, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was interesting. A lot's changed in DIE world since that presentation, but
Yeah.
she was really interesting. Yeah.
PHRC stands for the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission,
Mhm.
and they do seemingly like different webinars for featuring other DEI topics.
Okay.
So this one was just based on disability inclusion. They talked about language and how it went from disability first to person first, and now they're just suggesting that you ask somebody how they would like to be addressed. That's typically the best way.
So you're talking more, you're not a disabled
Yeah.
person, you might be a person with disabilities and that,
Right.
right,
But some people
still prefer
for
the-
like to be like labeled as autistic as opposed to a
Yeah.
person saying autism.
Person with autism as opposed to a person with a disability kind of thing, I think.
No. So, yeah, I mean, it's complicated because
Yeah.
some people do like to be preferred to be as labeled as autistic, just
Okay.
because they don't see it as a separation from their self. It's so ingrained.
Okay, it's
But,
very
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
So it's just things like that, but they do say to, like a person first, but
Yeah,
be receptive if somebody asks you to change how
Change,
they
right.
want to be addressed, things like that. yes, a lot of-
neurodivergent. Yeah, neurodivergent.
Yes. Um, but yeah, the woman that presented was Leanne Firestone, who was neurodivergent herself, and she was the director of the Neurodiverse Network, which is like a community space that they have where people can go and have community with other people that have disabilities and are neurodiverse. And oh, yes, New Cumberland. That's where
Okay.
it was located. So it's not particularly close to
No.
us, but
No, she's up near Harrisburg. I grew up in that area. Yeah.
yeah. But they just talked about what neurodivergence is, and it's just a different way of how people think, cognitively, different things like that. A lot about language.
Do they give any resources for people other than
Um,
the New Cumberland air space they have?
yeah, that was pretty much
Okay.
what they were talking about, but it was a lot about job accommodation.
I was
Okay.
going to say, it
honest.
seems like it's eons ago, and I think, Abby, thank you. I did attend that, but I can't remember, unfortunately. It was a lot of job stuff, right? Wasn't it?
Yes.
She was starting out, she was working 3 jobs, kind of reminded us as a person with neurodivergent, young mom, with all kinds of stuff. It was inspiring, I think, for
Okay, well, I mean, it's always nice to have, these webinars so
Yes.
people can get ideas or, opportunities are out there for workplace. Do you think it was more people that were disabled with this, or was it employers?
Employers.
It was employers?
It was geared towards, I think, employers
Okay.
and how they can
Mhm.
create a workplace that is inclusive. Just like the challenges of like traditional offices and things
type
like
of
that.
lighting, right? Wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
She discussed
Like
particular
sound.
lighting, that kinds
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. But yeah, they have like a whole slide about when speaking to somebody, they have John is autistic, John is neurodivergent, John has been diagnosed autistic, and then it's saying no, that John has autism. So, I'll definitely
Okay,
email out
yeah, just
the
send the,
slides
no,
and,
no,
but yeah,
appreciate that. I'm glad that.
it was interesting.
Yeah, okay. I can't remember, John, did you forward that to us? I don't know, remember where yeah, you might have. Okay, if you see any more that come along
Yeah.
and we find it relates.
Yeah, we putting together human relationships.
Yeah.
So I'm getting those sort of webinars and stuff.
Yeah.
But, you bring up an interesting point. I mean, for folks who have neurodivergent family members, the parents in the community get together. It's like a network that almost instantaneously forms. But I don't see the same thing for young adults or adults who are who are looking for employment in the same way, or I don't know if much in the way of resources around that.
So I know the SIL is that's one thing they really do. So they
Yeah.
have these peer groups that meet every month, every Tuesday. So there's a newsletter that goes out and they will help people try to find employment. So they definitely have young teens. And I mean,
Yeah.
I forwarded, some of her information. I didn't get a newsletter for February. I think it was from January, but that is something that the Center for Independent Living does.
They help with.
Yep.
So
They
we-
do, and family services used to be very involved, but I don't know how involved they are anymore on some of the neurodivergent on the spectrum kind of things. Their thrift shop used to be run by children with Asperger's, which I always thought was wonderful. That goes back quite a few years, so.
Another thing that for teens and older children, young adults, I know that the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection on Makefield Road has a Disciples with Special Needs group where they have, I think it's once a month, they do like a dance or like an activity.
Mhm.
I know they've gone bowling and different things like that, but I know it's for young adults
Mhm.
and adults.
And again, for most of the children, young teens, young adults are going through like the Pennsbury school system and the services are there. I know they've increased it to 21. And then when they age out, they do try to help, And Bucks County Community College also has a whole department for disability,
Yeah,
accessible for autistic people, anyone that wants to attend college, they're going to help them. So,
larger employers are starting to get a better understanding of this. And it's interesting because out where I work, but there are a number of folks, there is a special employee resource group around those who are neurodivergent. And but the sort of uncovering of folks who later in life get the diagnosis where they didn't receive the services when they were younger. And then having to cope with it and now understanding it. Employees and employers are working through that because the same level of services weren't there 20, 30 years ago. I would say they were there 20 years ago, but they weren't there 30, 40 years ago for folks. And I think that's something that's interesting in terms of how employers are dealing with it and then employees are, how they work around that. But that's an area we only have a very few large employers that would kind of meet
Yeah.
the category.
all right, great. Thank you, Abby. Appreciate it. The next is upcoming events. So I wanted to go over some events that are coming up that would definitely pertain to us and maybe we can attend. April 10th, 2025 from 4 to 7 is a disability fair that will be held at the New Hope Solebury High School, and that's on Bridge Street. And State Senator Steve Santarsiero and Representative Tim Brennan are hosting this. And it's just going to feature a lot of government agencies and support organizations that provide services for adults and children with disabilities and their caregivers. So this is a great place. I think, the Center for Independent Living, Claire said she would be there. I think they have some autistic, I don't know if Autism Cares is there, but there's a bunch of local support for a variety of different disabilities. So this is something I hope people know about it. That's the thing. Like, how does this get out there to
Yeah.
the school system or,
The
but
first I
but
heard
the state
about it.
senators,
Yeah.
they're putting it out on their Facebook, they're flooding the social media pages for it. We can surely mention it here if anybody watches, but yeah, I wish there was a way to promote it. It is a little far. It is a little far for people from here potentially. But it is Bucks County, Bucks
No, I
County.
think, John, who would we talk to? You guys have been using social media a lot with the Instagram stuff. maybe we could do a post on this, on one of the Lower Makefield social media, like Instagram or something. Would that be appropriate?
Well, I think we have the Facebook page and it has been out there. So it is being promoted on Facebook. I don't think, does LMT have an Instagram?
It does,
Okay.
actually. LMT does have an Instagram, does have a Facebook.
Right, yeah.
And there are other Facebook pages that are for Lower Makefield residents that you can post on.
Yeah, I usually post on the Lower Makefield Township. It's a great place to live, so I can
Yeah.
post that. But
Yeah.
I've definitely seen it out there. So maybe I'll just send something to Monica and she can probably post it out on.
I can post it in some of the parent groups that I'm in as
Okay.
well.
Yeah, I was thinking I have access to a social media network that has a lot of reach that I
Okay.
can get it on.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
this
there's
is
Definitely,
Bucks
this looks
County,
awesome.
yeah.
There's a Bucks County Parents of Kids with Disabilities group that I
Okay.
post in.
Okay, great. So what we'll do is we'll just I'll forward the flyer. There's like a
Yeah.
nicer picture that I'll just send out to everyone and you can just share it wherever you want. I'm sure Steve Santarsiero would like that. Yeah.
So are we planning to have something there?
No. So I think because we're
Not yet.
LMT,
I just-
really,
yeah,
but I think I'd like to attend. So I'm going to attend.
Me too.
And so if we want to go together, we can surely carpool. And then, if we want to hang out with Claire, I'm sure she would appreciate us just hanging out and we can see who's coming up to her and kind of see what they're asking. But I don't know, we could bring some brochures, but I think it's really not LMT. So I think we'll just attend and see what resources are out there and we can bring it back to our meeting here and maybe be able to provide some connections if we feel that
Yes.
it would meet our needs and our residents' needs. If there's something close right down the road and we don't know about, let's share that. We'll share the information that we learn from there.
Do we anticipate that there's the possibility of finding out stuff that we might want to include in the brochure at that event?
Yeah, so we could I'll pick up some
Yeah.
things.
I
Again,
will
resources.
Try to go. I just know that I have something that morning that might preclude me from attending. but
Okay.
I'm putting it in the calendar.
Yeah, just put it in your calendar if you're able to go. Great. Things always come up. We know that. Everybody's busy. And then the next event is April 17th. Now that's a Thursday at 2:00. And I did ask Monica, I'm like, why'd you pick a Thursday? That I work and at 2:00. But I think that's the week, must be Good Friday, the
It's
next
spring
day.
break.
It's spring
I was
break.
just gonna say, so,
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
I know I can
It's
be
Easter
there.
week,
It's
FYI.
Easter week, basically. Yeah. So a lot of schools have spring break that week or,
And there'll be a lot of kids at the park. There
Okay.
always is.
okay.
during
So,
spring break.
okay. So there'll be a ribbon cutting at 2:00. So I will take off work to be there. I think it's a good excuse. And
I can be there with the
yeah,
kids and stuff.
that would
for
be great
sure,
if-
so
if they're there,
Yeah.
I think just that new surface and
it'll
all.
be fun. so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
They'll
maybe,
love an excuse to go to the park.
and maybe we can get some pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
we
could-
should wait.
Yeah, Abby,
do
I'm
that.
putting you in charge
Yeah.
of photos, but I'll run up because
Yeah.
I'm right on the street, so.
Yeah, they'll have, I'm sure somebody from Parks and Rec will be there taking pictures. So we can grab one of those photos and we'll have, obviously you would give permission to have your children photographed. So we'll, and maybe we can have them on one of the handicap accessible, like that
The boat.
boat or, yeah,
Yeah.
the boat, the rocky boat. Okay. All right. That's great. So again, if you can attend, great. I'm going to try to attend both. Sounds like Abby's going to try to attend both. If you can't, it's not a problem. It's not something that we're running. We're really just attending. So just want to let everybody, out there know that, and hopefully people will attend, and hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. All right. Next, we were talking about last meeting was the ADA transition plan update. So we had sent a lot of information to the Parks and Rec, to Monica Tierney, to update the ADA transition plan, which they have to do every 5 years, probably. I can't imagine it's been 5 years. Could it be 5 years? since we've done that plan. It could be.
Gee.
Yeah. And so,
Hmm.
and then the ADA program that we're discussing to get that programming in part of the community center, Parks and Rec events that they do. So I know they have been extremely busy. And Monica said that, you know, they with the pool and everything, and she's promised us a potential April meeting. Okay, so we're patiently waiting. And we also had discussed we're going to come up with a whole marketing plan. And I think that now has a change in direction. It's now going to be a township plan. So it's no longer just going to be a Parks and Rec type of a plan. So I don't know what our involvement, it kind of changes things. So I don't know who's going to be running that, but they're kind of going into a different direction with the whole marketing plan. So we'll have to wait and get more information on that as they, I think, decide, you know, who's going to who's taking that on. Okay. Parks and Rec, again, no updates on many things because they really are concentrating on, I guess there's other priorities at this point. The only thing I want to make sure we follow up on is at Memorial Park, maybe prior to the ribbon cutting, if they can have the parking lot marked properly. I know that they just had that. They were waiting for spring, so it was a spring item. So I'll just check with Monica and make sure that, and again, it's not the handicap parking in front of the playground. They were going to put by the basketball courts, because they made an accessible path down to the new basketball courts. So they were going to put 2 handicap parking spots right there. So we'll just follow up on that. I think we
Lisa
have-
and Abby, may I just, one thing that Abby, you keep talking about, and I think it's really important as a parent of a child with a disability, is the bathroom issue. Can we figure out what budget they need to put those changing tables? I think would be a big asset for anything, whether it's the pool or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think that we'll talk about that under old business.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll wait. We'll table that until then. Okay. All right, next we have building plan review. I know Kirsten was going to help us out with that. So Kirsten, you know, Kirsten and I were on an email with Jim Majewski, and really we didn't have any updates that came through. So I think the only thing, obviously Prickett is moving along, and I think I'm going to go back and look at some previous plans. So I'm going to send you the old Prickett plans. And because I noticed they were starting to put the pathways in. God bless. If you ride by there, they're putting pathways from some of the stores out to the bike paths. And I didn't realize they were going to have steps. So it's just curious on the original plans, what it looked like. And it's not a big deal if there's other ways to get to that. I'm not even quite sure why they put those in or where it's leading to, because they are just doing it. But it's coming, you know, there is an incline, you know, going from the bike path up, but I'm not quite sure it's leading to the bike path of the middle of the road. So I don't know. And I'm not sure anybody really needs to use that, but is there, you know, I want to just see where it's leading to and where it's going. And are there other pathways leading? If it's leading somewhere, is there another accessible pathway coming from a different area? Because obviously you would park uphill. You might not be coming from the bike path. So it was just interesting, but I thought, let's go back and look at the original plans and just kind of see what they were.
And do.
Yeah, maybe they totally changed it, but we didn't see it. So anyway, so we're going to get the Prickett plan update, and, you know, we'll just continue to monitor that. And Jim didn't send us anything additional, that there's nothing else additional going up in the township at this point.
This is a very random question, but I'm just thinking out of the box because I'm a critical thinker and my mind is open a lot. Have we gotten monetary support from these developers who come in and do Prickett plans, and DeLuca wants to do 78 homes on a bike path? Is that something that we could be privy to of asking for additional accessibility needs, kind of like the Arbor folks ask for trees? Is this a Board of Supervisor question, John?
Well, the tree issue is totally different because they're taking down trees and then they have to put
They're
up.
replacing,
tree
but
bank.
I do think that we need to respect and adhere to pathways for people with disabilities. And if we know that Wegmans and the restaurants over there are kind of cutting corners on ADA stuff, can we ask for monetary support to do other things in the community? Is that like opening?
I would first say if they do not build a plan and the plan is approved with ADA compliance that we all agreed on, then we need to make sure that they fix that.
Yeah.
And we hold them accountable. So when developers go through the subdivision and land development process, there are ways in which the municipality can request fees, not just building permit fees or application fees, but things like Parks and Rec fee.
Yeah.
For example, that is fund some of the stuff. The tree bank is another area. So that's in lieu of when they can't plant trees on the property. As far as I know, there isn't authorization from state government that would allow us to assess fees for accessibility. I mean, there are, we just generally require something to be built to be ADA compliant.
Right.
So I don't know that there's an opportunity for, and by the way, I'm always looking for new revenue opportunities for the township.
I think it's
don't-
going to get tighter between you and me, but that's a whole other lane.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there'd be a legal authority for us to create a fee for accessibility, as much as that would be awesome.
I know,
Uh,
I know.
but I
It
don't-
could help us get the bathrooms done at the pool. It could help us improve.
Well,
the
that's
park.
what the Parks and Rec fee in lieu, those kinds of fees that when developers pay those as part of, when they build new stuff, there will be funds going into that. The bathroom, you're thinking the Memorial Park bathroom as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the bathrooms in the pool are in desperate need of refurbishment, and that is going to be on the agenda soon. But yeah, no, we have to find those revenue sources.
Building off of that idea though, I understand that we don't have the legal authority to ask for funds or fees in relation to that, but I'm wondering if there is a way to appeal to a developer's desire to advertise themselves and show themselves as a good community partner, to say, like, if you were to put in X, we allow for signage that says this amenity brought to you by Corporation X.
Possibly there's some realm around that. In general, there's a given, there are ways that there are things that developers can provide as part of that process.
Mhm.
There are impact fees that they could be paying. I would say the township is improving its ability to, and I don't want to say this the right way, make sure that the impacts are properly received by the community, and that there's a balance between the needs of the community and the needs of the developer, in terms of the costs that are created when a new property comes in, whether it's a traffic impact fee, which is another one that we have, or other stuff. We as a municipality are getting better at that process. I'm not saying the best or anything like that, but we are improving. I think in terms of these are areas we need to just plain straight up invest in, whether it's, making sure the bathrooms are in good shape and stuff like that. And then even, we have a large, we're growing our network of paths, and there's not a lot of bathrooms along the way. So if you walk multiple miles, you can go miles without seeing, anything along those ways. But there are things that we can be doing on that. I think just when those come up, that's when you put the screws in, twist my arm, which wouldn't be that hard, but others that to make sure that we're doing that the right way. And the changing table issue, the accessibility, all those things are really important. just for, ease of use. But yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't see that we could charge a developer an in lieu fee because you either have to do it or you don't.
And you'd
So-
rather have them have to do.
You have to do it. Yeah, we're not going to say, you don't have to put in that handicap accessible bathroom and just pay us $10,000. They're going to say, take the 10,000,
Right.
That's true. Then we could sue them for not being compliant.
But the plans
But
wouldn't
that,
go
but that's
through,
what they
but-
do on the tree bank, FYI, because they're gonna cut all those trees down on the yes, I mean.
Yeah.
It's.
So we want them to do it.
We want them to do it, because. Trust
Yeah.
me, but I think there's some kind of statute, and this is more of a board of supervisor lane strategically thinking, like. It definitely could happen, because the loophole is a little too big between you. It's just, you got to figure it out, but.
What specifically isn't being built correctly at Purgate Preserve? Because I've been over there.
Nothing, I'm not sure. I think Michelle was just kind of throwing that out there. It
I was
wasn't
just
for a particular
example, it was the
project.
step, because we had to figure out the steps from
Yeah.
the
But
back.
that might, it could be approved if there's another way, is what I'm saying. It does,
Yeah.
you're allowed to have steps. It just
Yeah.
has to have
You just
another,
Have to have another action.
yeah.
There is, and
Yeah.
I was there not too long ago for something in the middle of construction. There's a restaurant that is coming online. I
Yeah,
think
LaGrange.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and-
the French restaurant in the stone house, isn't it? Is that the one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was, again, it's not fully finished, the outside, the railings aren't done, but there was a pathway up. And that property, because of the way there's like a section that's hard to get to, that's a lower level, that has stairs, but
Mhm.
the round, I guess, the north side of the building, there was a pathway. I'd have to go back.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
We looked at
I
the
remember
plans.
looking at
Yeah, those
Yeah.
plans. Yeah, there's
No,
accessibility there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, you don't have to sell me. I live in a 250-year-old house. Is it compliant? Of course not. Is it ADA compliant? No, but I love it. So a lot of these older places get grandfathered, but you got to think about certain things that.
Yeah, that one is not, it's going to be totally accessible, for
Okay.
entering, and they're doing a lot of work. So no, I think, for Prickett, we're pretty good. We just want to take a look at that. That's all. I just don't recall.
And as a new resident to the area, I just have to ask a little more about the French restaurant that we're getting. What is it
Yes.
called?
LaGrange.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's owned by
Make a little note.
Listala,
That's my-
actually.
Oh,
It's a
nice.
branch, I guess, Italian and French. I don't know how.
It's all good. I know that.
Yeah.
that's
You'll be
a
very
tangent.
impressed with the kitchen. It was all sparkling new, like stainless steel end to end. It's huge. And the bar is going to be impressive as well. So yes, if
Excellent.
you'll,
Well, considering I'm going home to have a dinner that includes some Lostala stuff, you'll
There-
know that I will be a
Yeah.
customer at LaGrange.
yeah, it,
Putting it out there.
it should be open, I think, mid-April.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and it looks really close to done. But there is a section, I'm just trying to think, there is a section where you have like a separate up level, we have to walk up this, there's no other.
Oh,
no
okay.
I thought they had an elevator.
They have the
Yeah,
elevator?
they have-
Okay.
Remember.
Yeah, they do
Over
have-
on the far side.
Yeah, okay. That one will take you
Yeah.
to the basement where you can get from the kitchen. So
Yeah.
the elevator will go all the way up.
Yes.
So that gets you all through. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Sorry for the
No, that's
side
okay.
diversion.
All right. Does anyone have any new business?
I have some new business.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
As the secretary, doing the minutes, which for somebody with a stroke impaired right hand is kind of painful. I was wondering, is there any way to get these videos transcribed to text automatically? I'm trying to do it right now in real time, and it's not doing a very good job.
Well,
But then
you
that
can,
led me to think, why don't we have closed captioning on these meetings anyway? We should have it, right?
I think,
That's a disability thing.
There could be functions within Zoom that will do closed
Yeah.
captioning and take notes.
There definitely is.
you do listen to them back on the Facebook page? Do you have
Yeah.
that, or the YouTube? right? So you can do
I
that
did it
too.
on I did it on Facebook. I couldn't find it
Yeah,
on
yeah,
YouTube.
okay.
And there wasn't any closed captioning on that.
No.
Does Zoom have capability now that AI is getting a little savvier that it would be instant verbal, like you and I are talking and then on the bottom is like a ticker?
I know for a fact it
Yes.
can do that.
That would be
I-
awesome.
Okay.
Participated in Zooms where
Yes.
that
Yeah.
has occurred.
Okay, so maybe we'll ask Dave, the AV guy.
Mhm.
He can help us out with that. So maybe we can ask him to see if the Zoom has that capability, if we have to push something or,
Lisa,
Or-
you're saying that these meetings are on YouTube as well as
Yes.
Facebook?
yeah.
Okay, because I know Facebook has a way that you can take your videos offline and have closed captioning added afterwards.
Okay,
And so what I'm seeing now, I'm trying to do it live is, just with the buffering, it can't keep up with the, can't type fast enough to keep up with the speech. And I mean, you've all
Looks
watched
like-
programs that has bad closed captioning. It gets to be kind of comical, and that's what
And
I'm
our-
seeing here.
but our
Yeah.
meeting minutes aren't word for word, like you're not gonna,
No, I know.
you're not transcribing the whole thing, right? So, yeah,
Right.
okay, I'm just making
Right.
sure, yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like
but,
it's
yeah.
something the admin can do.
Okay, the
Yeah.
admin can do that, okay.
yes. But after I started doing, I thought, well, that is an accessibility thing. I mean, there
Okay.
could be someone who needs that, who wants to,
Yeah.
follow the meeting.
Now, I'm just wondering if somebody's watching on YouTube, can they download it and add the captions to it? Like, does technology allow that now? I mean, so
You can turn on closed captions for somebody I'm
that's what I'm wondering. So I'm
Yeah,
just
I
wondering,
don't know
our
if you can
audience
do it if
members.
you don't own the video. Yeah, like I know if, for example, if I was posting a video, I could then take it and get closed captioning added to it. YouTube has that capability, but I'm not sure if you don't own the video, if it's not your video, if
Okay.
they allow you to do that. I'm not sure.
If you can do
Maybe.
it after the fact, yeah, like if I downloaded it, then could I push a button to add closed captioning?
Yeah,
It wouldn't be a bad idea to have it on all township meetings, have closed captioning available.
Yeah.
If it's as easy as changing a setting or something. for
Right.
sure.
Okay, so we'll ask Dave about that. Okay. Okay, all right, thank you, Cynthia. Appreciate that. We'll follow up on that. Old business, we had talked about, I just want to get an update on the striping for the new Trinity Health that's going in the McCaffrey Shopping Center. And we were just making sure, we had discussed it at our last meeting and making sure that maybe, who do we have to contact to get that maybe started? And so we just emailed Jim Majewski and he wrote back immediately. He said, I'm on it. We'll take care of that. So I hasn't opened yet. And I think that parking lot might need to be restriped badly.
Caffrey's definitely.
Yeah, so I think when that occurs, they'll put in striping from the handicap parking spots across the way to the cutout. And it's directly across from those. And, Jim, I think, was kind of laughing. We were kind of laughing, like, nobody's going to pay attention. They pick up their dry cleaning and pick up their pizza. But I said, visually, even if you're parking in the fire lane and you see striped lines, you might leave that open. I don't know. Maybe it's wishful thinking yeah. So, but I'm visually thinking, okay, if there's striping there, maybe somebody would back up a little bit and pick up their pizza. So,
Hopefully.
yeah. So Jim said he would be, following up on that as it gets closer to Trinity and the striping of the parking lot. Yeah, Abby, other old business was Abby had brought up last meeting about the ADA compliant bathrooms and if they could come and install changing tables that could accommodate older children or larger sized children or adults. And so we again brought it up to Monica Tierney and she just said, I never thought about that. And, we passed that idea along and she was just receptive to the idea of when they it's going to be when the bathrooms are updated, that's the time that they would do them. They wouldn't go and just put, throw in a new changing table into an old bathroom at
Right.
this point. So again, a lot of times it's just,
Putting it on their radar.
putting it in their
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Nobody's
that-
thinking of that. Yeah.
Exactly.
ahead.
That might be a good sponsorship thing, like Kristen mentioned too. I mean, why not? I don't know if we're allowed to legally. I didn't think the township supported trying to get sponsorship ideas, but the changing table might be something that hypothetically Huggies or somebody would like, or even I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe somebody could sponsor them. How much are they?
We got one for our house and it was 10 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, we got one that folds up and is power controlled to go up and down to transfer.
Mm-hmm.
There's other options. And also we had to buy a commercial one. So there might be different pricing for somebody because they don't really offer them residentially. Like we had
Yeah,
to
I
get
was thinking on the
somebody to try and
yeah, and the
like our
grocery
designers had to
stores,
work
they,
with the companies to get
yeah,
Yeah.
to have them sell us one. So they are available commercially, and
Yeah.
it might be different pricing for,
Right.
the township, a business.
And I know we keep bringing up the sponsorship, but to me, if the township is redoing a bathroom, we're not going, that's in a budget, that's in a capital budget. We're not going out at that point and asking for donations to do something. So I don't know how we could
Yeah.
go out for, McCaffrey's, can you sponsor?
no, but I
How
mean,
do you do that?
well, I'm not a board of supervisor, but I mean, if the line item to renovate the bathrooms in Macclesfield, oh gosh, how many places do we have bathrooms that need renovated? The swimming pool. And you carve out X number of changing tables for people with disabilities. I mean, it's definitely something that you could target as a sponsorship, but it would have to be approved through the board of supervisors. I think it's a necessity between you and me, but.
Right. And that's it. I don't feel like that's necessities shouldn't be sponsorship items is what I'm saying. That it's almost going back to the in lieu of. No, it's needed. This is the plan and this is part of the capital project. If
Okay.
you want to do something extra afterwards, I think that's where the sponsorships come in for an add-on type item.
And they're going to
But that would be a
I was
necessity.
going to say they're redoing the pool bathrooms. They're going to have to redo Kids Kingdom. Like that's all opportunities to put that kind of stuff in. And I understand that right now Kids Kingdom isn't like an ADA park, but hopefully when they
Yeah.
redo it, it will be. So, and I mean, they do have things like an accessible swing there.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we just put it in there for people to use?
Yeah. But again, you're talking about when they redo.
'Cause
Yeah.
I mean, those
Yeah.
are opportunities where they
Yeah.
are going to be redoing
Right.
them in the next.
It's probably
years
cheaper
or
when you're doing
whatever.
it from new than rather
No,
than.
you're right. But I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly, I mean, my mother had dementia. It's not just for adult children with disabilities. It's for the aging population, which we of course know Lower Makefield has a large aging population too. So it's really definitely a supportive budget item. It's just when is it going to get done? Yeah, when.
It takes years. Yeah.
Since you were talking to Monica, did they have any updates about Kids Kingdom or the plans?
No,
or-
it's going to be a couple of years. So
Right, I just
yeah,
didn't know if they
no,
were
nothing
starting
yet.
like
Yeah.
just even talking about it or.
no, I don't think nothing's come up. Mm-mm. You have to have a lot of patience in public,
Yeah. I
public
understand.
spending and yeah.
I just want to make sure that I can be hearing.
Well,
everything
yeah,
that's
you're,
happening.
yeah, you want to
listening
keep
them.
up to date.
Yes.
We just want maybe updates on progress. So if something's
Right.
brought up at a supervisor's meeting
Yeah.
in October of 2024, it'd be nice to get an update at maybe every 6 months or something, where we stand. So that's more for,
Just curious.
yeah, just give updates on potential projects down the line, even if it is a couple years out. I mean, that's okay. So, okay, so our next item is just the meeting schedule. So next, I guess the question is, do we want to meet next month or because we have, I think it's April 9th. So if we're attending these events, should we skip April
Yeah.
and then meet in May?
Yeah,
Is
I can't,
everybody okay with that?
Lisa, I'm absent anyway, so
Okay, okay. So we'll cancel the April meeting and we'll go ahead and meet May. Do you have the date on that?
The
Let's see,
14th.
14th.
The
So
second Wednesday, right?
second Wednesday is
Yeah.
May 14th. So next meeting, May 14th. And then the only thing I think, we always cancel the July meeting, so we may want to meet June just to
I can do June.
What is
for a
June?
vote.
Okay.
It would be the 11th.
June 11th. Okay. So we may want to meet June and then not July. So I'm going to say we can go ahead and cancel April and July already. We can just alert Katie. And that way she doesn't have to put us on the agenda. And let's schedule May 14th and June 11th, and we can always cancel June 11th if we don't have anything. Okay, but we'll get Katie to schedule that, and because she has to advertise our meeting dates in advance, but we can always cancel. Okay, so all right, anyone have anything else before we adjourn? Good. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Sure. I moved to
Okay,
adjourn.
Kirsten, second?
Second.
All right, Abby? Okay,
Abby.
everyone in favor? Aye, and
Aye.
everyone have a great rest of the March.
Awesome.
thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your French food, Kristen.
Why, thank you.